for Schindler. Has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to another pint-sized preview sponsored by Magic Rock. Because we're at the queues, I've run out of puns about pints, but we're looking at QPR in this one. And we spoke to the W12 Podcast about what they think about this season, and here's what they had to say.
Hi, I'm Duncan from the W12 Podcast. So my prediction for top two, this is no particular order, I just feel these are the two strongest teams in the league, and that is Burnley and Watford. I feel like neither have really lost too many key players from being in the Premier League last year. And I feel like Burnley especially have made some good signings with Scott Twine. And I just feel like those two are the ones they'll be pushing for automatics coming into the season. My shout for playoffs is, I don't know if this is an outsider or not really, but I feel like West Brom will be the team for me to challenge for the playoffs. I think they'll be the playoff winners. I feel like they've made some good signings this summer, and I feel like Steve Bruce will get them going places this season. As for the bottom three, again, this is in no particular order, so fans from these clubs, please don't give me any hate on Twitter. But I feel that these are the three teams I feel will struggle the most, and that is Reading, Birmingham and Rotherham. I think Reading, just going on from last season, I don't think they're in any kind of shape to be doing much more than what they did last season, and I think the league to be a bit more harder this season. Same again with Birmingham. I just feel, I know where John Eustace at QPR as a coach, I just don't know if he's the right man to keep them up. And Rotherham, it's just one of those teams where you just think, I don't think they've really strengthened this summer. And I feel like they're like a yo-yo team, aren't they, between the Champ and League One? So that's my three to go down. As for QPR ourselves, I feel like it's a bit of a transition season for us this year. We've got Mick Beale in, new manager. He comes with glowing references as a number two, but is not experienced at all as a manager. And I feel that could be a worry. But it's kind of one of those things where you don't know if it's going to go well or if it's going to go horribly, horribly wrong. I'm hoping it's going to go really well. And I feel with the right kind of signings, with the rest of the transfer window that's still left to happen, if we get a goal scorer in and a solid right back, I feel like pushing for playoffs is a real possibility. But again, if we don't necessarily get the right signings in, I feel like we could finish anywhere between 16th and 8th. I think it's a big season for us. But again, I feel like with a new manager who doesn't have the most experience, I feel like we need to give him time, and I feel like it could be work in progress this season and then pushing on again next season. Our star man has to be Chris Willock. When we lost him to injury at the back end of last season was when our form really tailed off, and that's possibly the reason why we didn't manage to make the playoffs. He's a big game player, and hopefully he comes back from injury firing and gets us at the right end of the table. All right, cheers guys, thank you.
Lovely stuff. So QPR, interesting team for me in this one. Mark Warburton, who I think is a really good championship manager, felt like he took them as far as they go, a change in approach, but he's a really good coach, and they were battling for the playoffs for quite a long time and then kind of fell away spectacularly, finished 11th. Michael Beale's come in, so he was Steven Gerrard's assistant manager at Rangers, and from what I've read, he was credited with doing a lot of the coaching during Rangers' title win. A lot of the players spoke about his level of coaching and how promising he is. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they get on, you know, when we see assistant managers step up to the number one role. In terms of who they've brought in, Tyler Roberts, again, another Leeds loanee who's joined the Championship. One of those players I've always liked, but he has a few injury problems, so it'll be interesting to see if he could flourish this season. They've let a few players go, but they have brought in Jake Salter, who I think's, okay at this level. He's a competent Championship defender. It can be a bit better if he's got a good defensive partner alongside him. But my feeling with QPR, again, still a long time in the window to go. I'm not sure if their business is done either. I think this is a transition season, so I've got them for mid-table. Dave, do you feel similar or do you disagree?
I think they're slightly better than that, but I think they're likely to fall into the QPR vortex, which is that they'll be way too good in attack and nowhere near as good in defence. That's been their issue historically for years. Warburton was a dictator, so changing that approach will be interesting. But yeah, a little bit like we've just said about Preston, if you're watching these things sequentially, I do think the teams around them count against them this year. It's going to be tougher. And again, have they got enough at the moment? Probably not, but there is still time left yet. I would say they are a capable side. You could see them definitely dishing out a few bloody noses. And if they can do it often enough, then who knows, they could put a run together and get in there. But it just feels perennially like they're doomed to repeat the same thing at the moment.
It's hard to disagree. Tom, we spoke on our podcast about how much we love former Town loanee Chris Willock. I know he's injured at the moment, but is there any other players you like the look of? What are your thoughts on QPR?
Do you know what? To be honest, Brady, with QPR, they've kind of just flown by me this year. Coming into this season, I guess one positive, Charlie Austin won't be there next season, so he's down in Australia, isn't he? So no more bullying Town. But I don't know. I think you never know, do you? With them, they had a pretty good, solid squad last season, and they were up there for ages. It's whether they can this guy can come in and kind of push them to that next level. So I think they'll be challenging top half again. It's just whether they can pull the fingers out a bit and keep going.
Yeah, Matt, we've all kind of gone for top half, mid-table. Are you going anything different?
No. The head coach is going to be the be-all and end-all, isn't it? There you go. There's a terrible pun for you. But yeah, Rangers and Aston Villa fans massively rate Michael Beale as a coach. How he transitions to head coach is going to be interesting. It's his first proper job, so you kind of feel like he might need a little time to get his feet under the table. But if he's as good as what his reputation is as a technical coach, then QPR could have absolutely smashed that, because it's a really interesting appointment. Dave's right about the defence, but I think when you look at if they keep a back three of Jake Clark-Salter, who I quite like actually as a ball-playing left-sided centre-back. Rob Dickey was outstanding last year, and I think a lot of their problems came when he was injured. Dieng, the goalkeeper, I like him as well. I think he's a decent goalkeeper. And they've got Elias Chair in midfield. I think Chair is a really fabulous footballer as well. So I think Jimmy Dunn as well at the back. So I think they've got the players there to actually have a joust at the top six in a lot of ways. Whether they've got the capable backup when players get injured is the sort of acid test. So I think it's all on the head coach. If the head coach is as good as his reputation, there's a real chance there that they could finally get out of the vortex, as Dave puts it. But I suspect they probably won't, because it's QPR, and 10th is pretty much their position in the Championship, isn't it? So there's potential there, but maybe it's 1 year too soon. But I think they're going in the right direction though with Michael Beale.
Well, there you go. If any QPR fans listening, we all think you're going to be stuck in the vortex. So enjoy this in May when we're proved horribly wrong. Thanks for that one.